For the last 6 decades, Democratic Republic of Congo has changed the names from Congo Kinshasa, Congo Zaire, and now DRC Congo. As the names keep on changing, state actors keep on changing, wars keep on changing, from small military takeover by Mobutu Sese Seko that killed the late Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba through the Belgian conspiracy, to now bigger wars where you have 123 and 32 rebel groups in one territory. Surely, a country with 132 rebel groups on its soil, people looking for various things, some looking for gold, diamonds, coltan, cobalt, name every type of mineral, timber, fish, salt, everything that you find on earth is in Congo. But Congo, like Yugoslavia, in Europe had similar problems. The European countries decided to dismember Yugoslavia by supporting various actors in that war. Since then, we got new states of Serbia, Bosnia, Albania, Macedonia, and several other states. But the point here is this: why should a country in Africa host so many rebel groups to the extent that they outnumber its army? The difficulties of African governments is a failure to accept responsibility. The Congolese government itself has failed to accept responsibility, that it is partly to blame for not having taken a lot of authority to close down, to stamp authority, to remove every rebel group from its territory and safeguard its integrity. So phase number 1 of this blame, as mediators think of which way to start, is to address truthfully, talking truthfully, candidly, the difficulties, the root causes that have caused the wars that we see, and the war that we see with 132 rebel groups crowded on one territory, racketeering, profiteering, plundering the resources of this great nation, and denying Africa the chance to have a super country where others in East Africa would gain from. The current spate of war between the rebel groups, M23, goes a long way to explain to you that an army that threatens other institutions and said, when you come, we are waiting for you. You open fire, we open fire, is an army that is backed by some powerful forces, not a mere rebel group. As a conflict resolution expert, I find it very, very difficult and very disturbing that today, as we prepare for shuttle diplomacy on how to bring about peace in Congo, no leader in the conflict has come out to tell the truth. Our key word today, cash phrase, is the truth. For peace to come in Congo, we need the truth. For peace to flourish in Congo, we need the truth. For rebel activities to end, we need the truth. It is only truth that will set the people of Congo and the people of Africa from these long, protracted rebel activities that had killed over 6 10 million people since it started. Displaced thousands of refugees, millions of refugees spread across all the continent of Africa in the neighboring countries. The truth and the truth alone will save Congo.
Our television station gives people to explain their problems, their difficulties, their information. If they need more information, we shall refer them to where they should get it.
We embrace dialogue, dialogue, and dialogue.
We want to exchange views, go deeper, advise where possible. Tell the world what is going on. Why is it that tactics have changed from removing governments militarily to removing governments through regime change tactics?
The issues here sometimes are elections in Africa. We as Kenyans or we as Africans view it as elections, but the foreign powers are viewing it as an entry strategy to enter into our affairs and get control of our resources and on the way we actually rule ourselves.
At the end of the day, I think it's just the greed of power that is bringing all these problems, even the Western influence that you're talking about, because you cannot accept to be used by Western powers unless there is a reason, and the reason is that you want to get power through any means, even if it means bringing a country or a nation down to its needs.
It is very shameful today for an African country to go and beg money for elections in its own country. It is very shameful. And then tomorrow you ask for the same people. Why are they asking for the record of your elections? Look at that. Kenyans, unite. And institutions in the world that don't benefit Kenyans, why do you keep yourself in them? There are those who think that with ICC gone away, we shall lack justice in Africa. No. Has justice not been there in Africa before? It has. Some people want to silence people. We are not going to keep quiet. France, watch your steps in Africa. You are dividing people in the African Union. If countries don't tell you, I am an individual, I've told you. The president, Salva Kiir, is the president of the Republic of South Sudan.
So that should be
Dr.
respected.
Riek Machar, before he left,
was the vice president.
So therefore the two
should
must
come
now
down.
avoid these blue-suited men and talk for the sake of their country.
Correct.
Yes.
Conflicts in Africa take a lot of our time to resolve. The Democratic Republic of Congo has been the bedrock of most of the conflicts on the continent of Africa. Time and time again, rebel forces, which number to about 123 different rebel formats, have inhabited Democratic Republic of Congo. As leaders of East African Community and African Union arrive in Nairobi to hammer out an agreement or to hammer out ways, to find ways which can bring peace in this region. There are three fundamental risks or factors that they should put in account. One, the questions they should ask Who funds these rebels? 2, who arms the rebels? 3, whose interests are these rebels fighting for? I believe those 3 questions or those 3 factors are very, very important and crucial if we want to find long-lasting peace to the conflict of Democratic Republic of Congo. Who funds the rebels? Who arms the rebels? Whose interest are the rebels fighting for? Fellow Africans, you can find answers for those questions or factors. But the most important thing are the rebels themselves. From time to time, they have been called for peace talks. Some sit on the table. They exactly know who funds them, who arms them, and whose interests they are fighting for. Believe me or not, these rebels, some of them don't even say who gives them their arms. A conflict, a sharp conflict like that of the DRC Congo, those involved in mediating it must find and stop the funders, those who arm the rebels, and who are the beneficiaries of the war. If you don't stop the 3 categories, we shall have meetings and meetings, but solutions will be less. So until the truth comes that the funders, those who arm, who fund, and whose interest the rebels are fighting for, if you don't find answers to those questions, the solution in Democratic Republic of Congo will remain elusive, as the war itself remains elusive. It cools down, it comes again. It cools down, it comes again. Fellow Africans, it is time for us to focus on the 3 elements of funders, those who arm, those who fund, and whose interest are the rebels fighting for. I don't think we can go on wasting time, money, to find the solutions, yet the solution is just amongst us, the leaders sitting down. Those solutions are amongst in Nairobi, success. But as a peace and a conflict resolution expert, if I don't ask those questions, such a mediation I would not like to enter. If I'm not told who is arming who is funding who, and whose interest the rebels are fighting, I will not mediate such a conflict. But I wish Kenya and other countries, especially President Uhuru Kenyatta, good luck in this, because he has been a beacon of hope for most Africans in resolving some of these conflicts. He has already initiated the talks with the Ethiopian Tigray and the Ethiopian government. Your Excellency, I wish you good luck, but I pointed out those 3 factors. If you can look at them, you will find the answer. The answer lies there. Thank you very much, fellow Africans. That is as far the week that was and what we expect as
thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and the Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger, starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN, it has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting, and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history that has littered Africa. While all these events are taking shape, Africa is silent. Africa is not making enough efforts to find a solution to what is causing the problems in Libya, in DRC, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, Biafra, and now you add in Khartoum, Sudan. As people die, the people of Africa have no answers, have no solutions. There is nothing to endear to bring an end to the conflicts that have killed Africa. We seem to be new ones manufactured, old ones reignited, encouragement coming from external powers. One power that has
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television. It is Friday, 10th of February, 2023, the year of our Lord. We're nearing 2 months past the beginning of the year. We are halfway of February, and as it means always, February brings quite a lot of hope. It brings a lot of those who like to celebrate other values. My values are God loves me, I love him, and I continue to love my God. up to the end until he calls me back. I am Dr. David Matanga, right from the Political Command Center in London. I will be bringing you this show this morning. And this show is the tough questions. If you don't want to hear the tough questions, don't undermine others. You also set yours. I am an African, and I want to tell you, my viewers, that as an African, I'm entitled to know whether I'm a Minister of Foreign Affairs, or I am not, or I'm not an ambassador. I am entitled to know whether in Africa, whether in Britain where I am, I will always even be more ruthless. I want to say it today. I will be more ruthless to know what takes place on the continent of Africa. So these small things that you talk rubbish, that's rubbish. The war in Congo must end. You are not the only money owners of ideas. You should allow some people in the world to give you ideas. You have never solved the conflict. Wachana na mambo yenye hiyo. Hiyo ya ushenzi. You have never solved the conflict in the world. Then you come around and tell people you also know about the conflict. No. We Africans, Miriam. If Somalia is bleeding, we have a right to talk about Somalia because it affects me. I am a Ugandan. Ugandan troops form a contingent of the fighting force in Somalia. Now you want to segregate me not to talk about Somalia. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Are you wewe uko Mungu? I should not talk about Somalia. I should not talk about Congo. I should not talk about Libya. Surely I should not talk about the crumbling Nigeria, going into an election where is the hostage, money, terrorists killing us. Am I the one who puts these terrorists, Miriam, these adversaries? Am I the one? Today I want to say my mind. Watu wengine, some people talk nonsense. Surely, real typical nonsense. And I've told you, Miriam, Ogutu, Nancy Oma from Mogadishu. My sister, you suffer every day. We have suffered. We are members of the Labour Party. Africa is on its own. We have been together, you know me, I know you. But I'm not going to keep quiet when the conflict, the methods are wrong. When the people want to trade in the lives of the people who are dying, and they drag their feet, like where they have dragged their feet to destroy African Union, I am not a party. Someone, sikia Miriam, mtu mwingine aliambia Muhammad Faki that I'm a useless man. Where are you useful? Are you useful? Kama mimi naanza kuambia wewe how useless you are. Matanga, you will not like me. You will not like me. What will you do? The only thing is to kill me if you want. Nyenye muache yo mama. Muache. Leave these things. Let Africans talk about this war. This war of Democratic Republic of Congo touches every African. Whether you are buying your minerals, buy. Whether you are selling your minerals, buy. Whether you are telling Qatar to give you money, tell them. But for us, we want peace. Don't trade in us. We are watching. We are watching step by step. Don't trade. And we are only telling people, if you hate me, When ICC came to hit Kenya, when ICC came to hit Kenya, when it came to hit Libya, show me one voice that talked. Show me, Nyenye. Show me who one voice that talked in Africa. Show me. Have I built a skyscraper? Nimenunua skyscraper. Mimi. Niliwaambia ICC is a fake organization. In 2008, because it had come to my country, Uganda, faked evidence, taken the rules, and left the other commanders. Was I fake? Ilianzia kwenyu. Nyenye bado, don't touch me. Don't. Enda pole. Kwa miaka hii mefika kama kifo ni kufe. Watoto yangu wako. This is what I wanted my children to grow, and one of them will hunt whoever wants to hunt me. Time has come for me to stand up. Mnafikiri mimi nifanya nini? Iko kitu gani? President Museveni and I are fighters. We know how a gun pains. Museveni has handled a gun. I have handled a gun. We know how it pains. Therefore, I have no problem with His Excellency the President. Some people here masquerade saying I have a problem with President Museveni. Doesn't he know where I am? Which problem? I solved the problem of Northern Uganda. I finished it. He got peace. I signed the agreement. The only thing that I did not get, Mr. President, is my allowance. And I am sorry, I have forgiven everybody. The peace is holding. Niko na shida gani, Miriam? Niko wapi? Mniambie, niko wapi? You want my blood? Mniambia watu, oh, this. Uganda, this Ugandan talks facts. I talked facts when people were going to be wrongly detained in ICC by their fellow tribesmen, not me. So the tough questions are on DRC Congo. Is this agreement crumbling, holding, spiraling, out of control, or is full of dishonesty, dishonest people? Miriam, look at my face. Let me take off the glasses. I'm going to be honest today. And the President Kagame, pick this clip. President Museveni, pick this clip. President Kisekedi, pick this clip. Amai, Mama, Suluhu, pick this clip. His Excellency President Ruto, pick this clip. President Salva Kiir, pick this clip. President, who else? Of Burundi, chairperson, all people involved, East African community. Listen to this tonight. Listen to it as I answer these questions. One, I am answering these questions first as an East African. Second, as an experienced conflict resolution. And I want also, Mr. Kalonzo, wherever you are, I will send you the clip of what I'm going to say. I want also General Simbeyo. There are conflict resolution people that I have come across. I want Dr. Mbeki, Thabo Mbeki. I'll give you the clip. I'm excluding Obasanjo for reasons I don't want to tell you. And when it comes to Somalia next week, I'm going to be the same. I'm going to name the terrorists. I swear in the name of God. I'm going to name the fund seriously and let them kill everybody, but let the world be saved. You're not going to run around telling lies. I don't want to tell lies. is the peace process holding? If it is holding, why are you holding to send your troops into DRC Congo? That is the question. We agreed, send troops, peacekeeping troops into Congo to keep peace where UN has failed. Why are East African states failing and allowing only Kenya to send troops? Miriam, wachana hiyo makaratasi leo. Wacha tuanze namna hivi. Wacha tugongane. Wewe uko na evidence, mimi niko na evidence, uko na your opinion. Why are we where we are? Point number 2, is it holding? No. No. Is it crumbling? Yes. Let's not waste people's time. And if I were former President Uhuru Kenyatta, my friend, people think I always talk to you. I have never seen you. I've never come to State House to beg anything from you. The last I saw you is in the ICC. That was the last I have ever come closer. You hugged me. I told you the cases are over. And I came out. I've never come. I want us to be mature. I'm 68 years old. I'm not going to sit here to tell lies. Sorry. If you hate me because I'm talking too much, don't kill me. Also bring your idea. The peace process of Congo, Miriam, is crumbling. It's not holding. The ceasefire is broken. The gentleman by the way, some people don't know that the gentleman in Angola is also a relative. So you go on with your things, but one of these days, everything will come out. Mimi nawaambia, nasema ya wazi, there are things that are happening that are very bad. Maybe someone should stand up and say the truth, like I'm going to. The tough questions. Is this? Let Miriam read them. That is my opening remarks. Nazi Omar from Mogadishu, good morning. Nazi Omar, my sister, Nazi Omar. Good morning. Miriam, maybe Nazi is going to come on her phone. Let's start us off. The newspapers will come later. Let's start off with our discussion. Read us the question. Let's answer. You put your opinion, I will put my opinion.
All right. Very well, thank you so much. And of course, the questions that we are seeking to respond to this morning, you've started on it. Is the DRC peace process holding? Is it crumbling? Is it spiraling? Or is this process marred with a lot of dishonesty? Those are the questions that we're seeking to unravel this morning. And the latest on this, as we continue with this conversation, the East African community leaders have been urged to fast-track the deployment of additional troops in the regional force deployed to Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, a mediator for the East African Community Bloc, says more troops need to take up positions in areas where armed groups have withdrawn, according to the Luanda ceasefire agreement. Mr. Kenyatta expressed concern over the deteriorating security situation in North Kivu province, where the M23 rebels have clashed with security forces in recent weeks. Uganda and South Sudan are planning to send troops after contingents from Burundi, Kenya arrived in eastern DRC last year to help end decades of instability. Mr. Kenyatta welcomed recent calls for cessation of hostilities by all aides in the conflict of the East African leaders. In a statement, the facilitator said he would intensify plans for the fourth round of talks in Nairobi by mobilizing regional and international support for the meeting. He has also urged all parties involved to accelerate implementation of resolutions of the third consultative talks in Nairobi. But even with that, there's also civilians in eastern DRC are fleeing their homes near Goma amid fears that the M23 rebel groups are advancing. There are reports that the Congolese army has been fighting the militia near the town of Sake. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced in recent months after the Tutsi-led rebels launched an offensive 10 years ago. The same group was chased out of the DRC into Uganda and Rwanda. So as the lead mediator of this process is calling for more troops to be deployed there, there seems to be a renewed sense of restiveness in the same region that is now forcing tens of thousands of people from the Eastern Democratic of Congo to flee their homes because they are fearing for their own lives. So that is the latest from this conflict there.
Okay, Miriam, thank you very much. I think in summary, the statement is very clear. It's not. Can we start, you and I, let's go through question by question. Question number one, is it holding? What is your view? Is it holding?
Obviously, the peace process is not holding, and at some point we thought we had made a lot of advances moving forward, but it appears all these gains that have been made, we've gone back so far that it's even difficult to know where do we start from. Do we go to the blueprint, and what is the blueprint, and what should we start with? Because the initial agreement was the cessation of hostilities, the Angolan agreement, and it appears no side is respecting this, be it the side of the Democratic Republic of Congo Army and also the M23. I'm not sure about these other groups that rebel groups that had a meeting with former President Uhuru Kenyatta in Nairobi, if at all they're also participating in this renewed heightened situation. But obviously, from the facts and the reports that we are receiving, there's no peace. This peace process is not holding. And this urgent call by the chief facilitator or mediator, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, I think also is a good sign to let us know that it's not holding, and perhaps something needs to be done very, very quickly to avert any more loss of lives and loss of property in that region.
Thank you very much. Miriam, you have said what I could say. Nazi Omar, are you on the platform or you are not? We are trying to call you, you are not on the platform. Innocent Dahiriwe, where are you from, sir? Rwanda, I believe.
I'm from Uganda, but right at the border from Rwanda and Congo in Chisoro. That's where I'm born.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Oliotia Sebo.
Disable.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You don't worry, don't open the your contribution. Surely you are Ugandan like I am. Is there a peace process surely, or we are just running around and around and around? A ceasefire today, it is broken tomorrow. Another territory, another person moves here. Are we sincere? Is there a peace process?
My take on this is that I've been following this several conflicts in DRC, and particularly North Kivu and South Kivu, which neighbor my upcountry home of Chisoro from 1996. And I want to say that for the first time ever, this is the only time I've seen regional top leadership this is at president's level, take interest in this conflict and meet, I don't know, so regularly. And I think there is really, for the first time, political will and interest in this issue of the eastern part of the DRC. It's something which has taken quite a long time. Like I've said personally, I've seen this from 1996. I don't think we'd expect this issue to be resolved in just 1 month or 6 months or maybe 1 year. And it's also an issue which I think is beyond the region. I believe there are several other interests way beyond the region and who seriously have interests and are doing everything it takes to ensure that the status quo remains. But I see the regional leaders also determined not to sleep until this issue is resolved. So I feel there is some highest level of complicated diplomacy in whatever is going on. And what we see even on the media and what is being portrayed possibly is not even half of what is exactly happening. I feel there is more that is happening than what probably some of us out here are able to see. You know, they say diplomacy is a deep sea of secrets. So I believe there is some really strong and big work ongoing to resolve this issue, including possibly what we see as support for this M23. Possibly it's even something agreed on, but they probably are trying to hoodwink some international actors somewhere, and there is really some kind of something happening which is not coming out, but it's deep diplomacy. And for me, what I like is that the region, and when I saw DRC join EAC, for me, that is when I believe that as a country, they are determined to end this crisis. Otherwise, they would probably not even be still members of the EAC. But the fact that they joined the EAC and they are determined to keep their membership in EAC, and they are continuously attending these summits, like just this recently concluded summit in Bujumbura, for me that was a very big indicator of really progress on this issue. But like I've said, we are dealing with an issue beyond the region. We are dealing with actors probably beyond even the continent who have interest in these two regions of the South Kivu and North Kivu. So that's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Innocent. You know, from the voice I'm picking who you are, don't worry. But thank you very much. You have said something very, very important this morning. And perhaps you have cooled my temper a bit. Mine is, I am an activist. I'm an international activist. Activists, when things are not going well, they shout and put pressure. I'm not shouting to allege things against any head of state or anybody who is doing this peace process. No, I'm shouting because I see, and above all, I'm not just an activist. I'm a peace, reconciliation, conflict resolution expert. I read conflict resolution. I know the mechanisms. I know how things work. A ceasefire is collected, a ceasefire is put in place, a ceasefire is not honored. That one, a peace process of that nature is wrong. Mr. Tshisekedi goes to Bujumbura. He's told to speak to M23 directly. He says he is not. He walks out. Other people walk out. The conference, they think they do these things we don't know. But everything personally, I have very many eyes. Any conference of heads of state, anywhere, even in AU, I will sit in London, but I will be getting every information that takes place, even in closed doors. I'm telling you today, let them know. Because they are friends, there are people who say, no, this thing is not going very well. Tshisekedi is told, why don't you have a face-to-face discussion with your army generals that broke away, picked guns and went away. He said, no, he doesn't want. Then this is a problem that we have to face. And as Africans, we must talk. Nazi Omar, stand by. We were calling you all the time. You are not responding. You have raised another point. Maybe the conflict is beyond our borders. It's beyond the borders of East Africa and Africa. It's somebody somewhere in Europe who has divided this North Kivu and the South Kivu, who has wanted this state, who has wanted to have this area restful area, never to have peace. Is there a foreign power or foreign powers that are meddling in the issues of this North Kivu? Who are the commanders, the real commanders of M23? Tough question, Imadiam. We have is Makenga the real commander? Why don't you let's ask these questions. Innocent, you are Ugandan, I'm a Ugandan. Tuambiane ukweli. Forgive the truth. Is Makenga the real commander of M23? Those are serious, tough questions. Is Makenga the commander? Is he the overall man? Is he giving instructions? Is he holding the ceasefire? Who is the overall commander of M23? If you solve that problem, then you would have solved the entire war of that region. Then there comes what Innocent Ndahire from Uganda has said. There is a sea of diplomacy. I agree with you. And we encourage our East African heads of state, President Museveni, especially Commander Museveni, because he was from NASA, I was a Kikosi Malum. I have no regrets for having been Kikosi Malum. And he has no regrets for having been from NASA. But we had the same aim to liberate Uganda from Idi Amin. He went. Yes, yes, yes. He's gone. So he is sincere. Are people, stakeholders in this conflict, innocent? Are they sincere? Are they sincere? Are people Miriam, from your point of view? Nazi Omar, Paul Onyango from Mombasa, Nazi Omar from Mogadishu, Innocent Ndahire from Uganda, Kisoro is touched. If the region is in chaos, Kisoro is in chaos. Have the Hutu people in Tarahamwe exported chaos on the Congo soil? Does the Congo government also have rebel militias? Me, I'm asking these questions. This time I'm not keeping quiet. How many militias do we have in Congo seated? 131 militia groups. Is Tshisekedi also funding some of these militias? Hey, you see, everybody would run away from the screen. If you were mediator,
good morning, Punchline Africa.
We have been looking for you. These are the questions that you have listened to. Who is the war? Begin here. Nazi Omar, is the war, is the peace process holding? Yes or no? Is it crumbling? Yes or no? Is it spiraling out of control? Or, simply put it, we have dishonest people.
My take is this. Hello to the studios in Nairobi, and hello to everybody else who is participating this morning. For me, I'll give you your 5 points answer to each and every one of them to the best of my ability. The first one is the people honest about the peace process, the mediators, yes, if they didn't want, they would not go up to there. But are there people who want Congo as it is, that there's a benefit for them for Congo to remain the way it is? Yes, definitely there is. There must be people behind the curtain who wants Congo to remain as it is. It's more profitable for them than a Congo that has a running institution, strong and peaceful. That is the second answer. The third answer, where would the peace come from? The peace process has to come from everybody else, all the stakeholders, all the Congolese. It doesn't matter which side of the fence do you stand or you belong to. You have to want that peace. It has to come from them. There is no mediation can be done, but then if they do not want, you would never have a peaceful Congo. But the beautiful thing is, if they all are honest and do want that Congo that belongs only to Congolese, and say we are all Congolese and this is our soil and it's up to us to make it work, and they're honest and invest about it, I think even the hands behind the curtains will find it difficult to maneuver, because this will be coming from we always underestimate the will of the people, the power of the will of the people. Will of the people has an unlimited power, and most of the time you see people underestimate those. But sooner or later, Congolese people, and I pray they do realize that they only have that one Congo, and as it is only few that are benefiting from the status quo. And it's about time they all get up and say enough is enough. Back to the studios.
So, in your honest opinion, is the peace process holding? I just want a quick yes or no.
Yes, it's the people who are holding the peace process behind. Unless they are honest and they actually say, you know what, yes, so there's atrocity, yes, there's issues, yes, there's problems, yes, I feel this about you, you feel this about me, all these things have been done. What is the way forward? Collectively. So unless they do that, and unless each and every party does that, I don't think there would be even Pope could not make any change. Nobody's gonna come from heaven and bring change to them. They have to want the change.
Thank you very much. As we go on the press, His Excellency the former president of Kenya, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, has just written a letter, which a copy I have now, saying is called again, requesting all the East African heads of state as a facilitator to again come to Mombasa for a summit. Miriam, another summit after the Bujumbura summit, where Tshisekedi vowed never to talk to M23. And the reports that came from that summit is some heads of state were not very comfortable. Some of them walked out. You have seen those reports. Very serious reports. Now, why this Paul Onyango, Innocent Ndahirwe from Kampala, my brother, you are still holding on the line there. Hold on the line. I think this is our East Africa. And we should not be shy to say we are in chaos. We should not be shy to say there is a problem. The leaders, the 9 frontline states surrounding DRC Congo are dishonest. Am I right to say that? Innocent Ndahiriwe.
Thank you, Doctor.
I know some of Some of the questions will be very difficult for you to answer, but answer what you can answer, because this program is called Tough Questions. Are the leaders, nine countries surround DRC Congo. Are the leaders around this conference?
I want to begin by saying that Congo
That's
is
it. The
DRC
picture is coming from you is not very good.
Am I clear?
Yeah, you are clear. Go ahead.
So DRC, if I'm not mistaken, I think has 26 provinces or there around. So out of these 26 or slightly more, you find that it's only 4. This is South Kivu, North Kivu. I think this other one near Kasese side as you go up.
Increase your volume, innocent volume.
Yes, there are about 4 provinces you're going to find having conflict, protracted conflict for some time now. Now, when you look at these provinces, vis-a-vis the 20 plus, which are very peaceful, I think the issue is also that DRC maybe has not paid much attention to these other provinces to resolve this issue. But I know maybe that would be a bit hard on DRC. The issue is also that what or who has interest in these 4 provinces? Is it only even the neighboring countries? Because it is natural that when I'm your neighbor, doctor, I have interest in you, just like you have interest in me. We must live together. When you have issues, then I have issues, you see? So neighbors naturally have to have interest in each other's affairs as neighbors. And this is where this whole even aspect of REX come in. And for me, I was so happy that finally DRC considered a decision to join the EAC, much as it was a member of the SADC. So with it joining EAC, I believe these issues of the Eastern region, they are now going to be resolved. But they have been ongoing for so many years. And the interested parties in these issues are way beyond the region. This one, I will say it firmly. The interest in Eastern DRC are beyond the East African region. There are so many people with very strong interests. You will find so many militias, well armed and operating. Who backs these militias? Now, for a long time, Uganda has suffered with refugees from this country, DRC, and mainly coming from the DRC, the Eastern region. Who is behind these militia groups? For a long time, no one knew. There have been speculations. And of course, there have been other issues of tribal and all that. But for me, I want to believe that it's beyond the tribal thing. Now, it's until we see the M23 group coming up. And that's when everyone is taking interest. But M23 also, I want to say that it is beyond what we are seeing with our eyes. M23 is beyond the group, the Makenga commander we are seeing. They are powerful forces who are actually the real people behind, who are the real M23. And for me, I want to think that M23 group is being used to possibly settle and, have this conflict in Eastern DRC settled once and for all. But like I said, diplomacy is a deep sea of secret. Some of these things we may never know. Some people know, but the public will never know. So M23 for me is beyond what we are seeing. Makenga and group are just people being fronted, but there is a bigger force, there is a whole bigger team of powerful entities, maybe even countries, who are using this group to probably, and in my view, I think, maybe settle this. But now there is another bigger group who want a status quo to remain. You see? So the war now is we have a group which wants to end this long protracted conflict, and we have another powerful group which wants the status quo to remain for their own selfish needs. So it's the war we are now seeing. So the M23, for me, represents this team that probably wants to settle this, while the other team, there is another group which is saying, no, we will fight and make sure that, because they are over, you've rightly said, over 100 militia groups. We are not hearing anyone mention about these other militia groups. Instead, we are being told that the militia groups are joining the government forces to fight M23. So is M23 a country, a group of countries? You know?
Innocent, hold the fire. I mean, the more you go into this thing. Yes.
We have also now seen the deployment of East African standby force for the first time. What is its role? What is it contributing to this peace? But on the other hand, we have the UN peacekeepers, the MONUSCO. What are they doing?
For 20 years. They have been there for 20 years.
So why don't we juxtapose these two groups? That for me, the other one maybe represents an entity that wants the status quo to remain, while this new one, maybe they're trying to see how they can end this. So I don't have answers, but for me, I think the continuous interference of this peace process is actually largely external. It is largely by entities which want the Eastern region status quo to remain, whereby the region remains ungovernable, the people remain destitute, so that someone keeps reaping the resources of the region, whereby government will not either be able to interfere or they will work with a few individuals of government for their personal interests, because for them their interest is that an ungovernable region helps them to continuously enrich themselves. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Innocent. I think you have even made the matters very, very straightforward and complicated too. Tough questions there you asked. Something is not adding up. Anybody discussing this subject will end up the way I'm going to end up. Something doesn't add up. Paul Onyango from Mombasa. Are you on the line now?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
It is afternoon now. Maybe Mombasa weather
afternoon.
is lying to you. The Mombasa weather is lying to you. We are already in afternoon.
I'm not used to it.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, my take is this. I'm seeing there's a problem already coming up. There are so many summits for no reason. I think there's a problem since the change of leadership in Kenya. Some problems are cropping up little by little. Now it's making everything complicated. The reason being, the initiators of the peace process, the former president, has done his bit. I think probably if he could have been still in power, the kind of challenges we are seeing would have not been there. So there's one major problem with the first three countries of East Africa, that is Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. They need to support the peace process to the extent that it benefits everybody within the region. If some of them are holding certain cards under the table, this will create a lot of issues. And out there, people, the general public who are waiting for peace, it is too long. Very many people are suffering. So many people don't go to school. So many people don't eat. So many people are living like animals. So the more we are creating more conferences in halls in other countries, it is not deserving at all. These leaders, they should come to the sense that these people need peace. They need to do their daily life. Whosoever is supporting the M23, whosoever is holding certain cards under the table, they should see the cry, I'm an African like them. I know what it means to sleep outside. I know what it means to sleep angry. I know what it means not to go to school. In Congo, most people don't go to school because it is ever conflict. And we cannot, the country cannot develop. People cannot have a civilization when at least to introduce some new knowledge in them is not part of their life. And some of the reason why we find it very, very difficult why this region has so many rebel groups is simply because many people are born and they are born during war. They grow during war. They get old during war. So the introduction of even going to school or civilization is not a matter of life for them. So the African leaders should see the sensibility that though the peace process was going on, what has happened now, some few months since the last summit that it was held, the M23, I don't know what demand they want, because according to President of Congo, Tshisekedi, he says, these are not Congolese. They are people from outside. And I don't know why M23, they are holding their ground that they need to talk to the Congolese government. What demand do they?
Onyango hold the fire there. Yes. When did Tshisekedi realize they are not Congolese?
Okay. If you look at the peace process, even Tshisekedi, I think he has come in between because there are so many peace agreements that have been made. There's one that was made in Angola some times back that incorporated the M23 to be part of a peace process whereby they could negotiate with the government. Now, when Tshisekedi came back, he says these people are not Congolese. There's nothing that is identifying them that they're Congolese. Yet, the M23 are saying they were born in Congo and they're part of Congolese.
So, Paul, when he said they were born, Miriam, you will come in, I can see something is itching you. No, when did Tshisekedi realize that these M23 are not Congolese? Where did they come from? From planet Venus, Jupiter? Where did they come from? They have been in the Congolese army. They picked up arms. They had a movement, rebels, mutiny. They left Kinshasa. Now, when did Tshisekedi realize that the M23 are not Congolese? Is it today? They have been there in Kabila's regime. Is it today, tomorrow, yesterday, in Bujumbura, Mombasa?
Let me answer that.
Wasting taxpayers' money, and we waste taxpayers' money, which could build dispensaries, when the president himself of Congo does not want the peace process to go on. He has moved to buy mercenaries from Russia. Yes, we better speak out the truth. If he does not trust the East African Stabilization Force, why is he in the process?
Now, Dr. Okay, that's why I'm saying when Rwanda and Uganda participated in toppling Mobutu Sese Seko, that is where the problem started. It's the same government of Kabila, the son, said that Rwanda participated in killing the father. The people who are in the army, the people who are accused that participated in the killing the father, and some of them ran away from the army. So I think it's the same problem that Tshisekedi is fearing, that when he brings back these guys, there will be likelihood of there is no stability in the country. What happened would automatically reoccur. So that's why I think it is a matter of geopolitical angle. So this thing is becoming more complex, of not more than, sometimes we might be accusing the outer side hand, but even the way these other regional countries participated in the politics of Congo has largely contributed to difficult situations such that even the agreement cannot be fully satisfied. Back to you, Daktari.
Miriam, you have some words to say. Innocent, you have heard what Paul Onyango, and Innocent, by the way, you are welcome all the time to be on our show from Uganda. Feel free. We don't bring allegations against, we are not like any organization here that talks things, or we want someone to come out with evidence. We don't want this to be used to besmirch the names of the presidents of East of Africa and East Africa and whatever. We use this platform to educate Africans. We want to bring out the problems that could help the chief mediator. Perhaps Mr. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, or President Uhuru Kenyatta, former president of Kenya, could easily be helped from some of the discussions. For example, the issue of the composition of the M23. Do they belong to Rwanda, and if they belong to Rwanda or Uganda or DRC, are they Congolese? The Ugandan side has not come to claim that any of them belong to us. And the Innocent is here. I don't think they belong to our country. According to the 1884 boundary, they belong to Congo. So for Mr. Tshisekedi to come right now and tell us that if they don't belong to Congo, where do they belong? He better tell us that the M23 should be allocated a country, a new state in Africa, maybe in the platform, because we are going to the space. We might create a space in the country and give them. So who, if they are not Congolese, who are they, Miriam?
All right. Initially, I just wanted to correct something there that Paul said. The M23 were not included in the mediation process in Angola, and that's why after the resolution was made that a ceasefire should hold, they said they were not included, they are not party to that agreement, they did not sign and agree to that. So that is why it was a bit of a challenge there for them to honor an agreement and out of a process that they were not included. So I just needed to point that out. I just want to perhaps probe further what Innocent said when he gave his first submission there, which I thought was very interesting. A few points that I picked from what he said. And I think he started by saying there's a political will to solve this problem, this conflict in the East Africa. And he also perhaps brought another perspective that I've never looked at, as why perhaps the reason why the DRC felt it was important for it to join the East African community. Innocent, from where you sit and how this thing has been playing out, and the accusations that the DRC has been making towards Rwanda, and Rwanda being a member of the East African community, do you think it was a very strategic move for the DRC to join? And could this be the only reason why they felt, let us join this bloc, and because who we think is a problem to us is in this bloc, so let's just bring it here, and maybe we'll have a forum where perhaps there will be pressure on Rwanda to stop, because that is what the DRC has been saying, the allegations that Rwanda is supporting the M23. So could that have been the main reason why the Democratic Republic of Congo joined the East African community?
Yeah, thank you. And I want to categorically say yes. Without joining the ESC bloc, I can assure you the eastern region of DRC would take probably much longer to solve that problem. Because when you look at that whole borderline, I think these neighbors really had interests. Uganda is currently hosting the second largest number of refugees are from Congo. Okay, and the others are in Rwanda. The others are in Tanzania and Burundi. So for me, joining EAC was a very good decision and a quite bold decision of President Felix Tshisekedi. And I just wanted to probably just take you back a bit, colleagues, that why I earlier on made a statement that diplomacy is a deep sea of secrets. When Rwanda and Uganda had serious border issues to the extent of crossing each other's borders for the last couple of years, who came in as a mediator? It was the new president of DRC. I don't know how many times he went to Rwanda, he came to Kampala, and later we kept seeing him meeting the two presidents of Rwanda and Uganda. Of course, later also Angola. Okay? And once what we thought was a big issue between Rwanda and Uganda, I mean, it was just resolved over a one visit of the first son, who later said was the one who solved this issue. I want to believe that what we are seeing now actually has been ongoing probably for a couple of years. But what we are seeing now, for me, I think it's intended for the general public and some enemies of the region. So, and you realize that immediately after those several talks between Rwanda and Uganda, mediated by Felix Tshisekedi, DRC from nowhere joined the East Africa community. I can assure you that decision was not, it did not make, I think it was not welcomed by several international actors and probably countries. And possibly the people who are behind for these so many years in the Eastern region, I'm very sure they were not amused by that decision. But this was a decision that was made so swiftly and quickly. And for me, I want to think that all this time we're seeing the peace talks of Rwanda and Uganda, actually it were not possibly the peace talks that were being discussed, but I think it was an issue of DRC. And I think the approach was join EAC. After joining EAC, then we come in as a region and see how we can solve this once and for all. But of course, we also know that the powerful people behind these so many years of conflict, because colleagues have seen airstrips in forests in the middle of eastern airstrips. Who built these airstrips? Which planes?
These airstrips, innocent, these airstrips are not on Google Maps.
And they are not on Google Maps. These areas are not controlled by the government of DRC. Like the government of DRC was completely cut off. We are seeing ADF becoming bigger and bigger. So I think the neighbors, like I said, when your neighbor's affairs are your affairs. Because when he is, for example, rearing pigs and there is a bad stench, you will not sleep. You will have a conflict. So you have to cooperate, you have to work together. So for me, I still want to believe that we are on course. I've never seen heads of states meet as regularly as they are meeting, and I think they are determined to end this, much as I know that the other side, they are also powerful actors and very, very powerful and determined to keep the status quo. But I think for me, it will not be easy. In the long run, they will be removed.
And I love your optimism, Innocent. Yes. I love
and
your...
yes, government will be able to manage that area, and of course together with the region under EAC.
Okay, and I like that you're optimistic and you're looking at it from a very optimistic position. I have some reservations with a lot of things and even how this process is going, and I think the dishonesty of some of the key actors in this process. So, but it's good to be optimistic. At the end of the day, I think peace in DRC will do all of us a lot of good. There has been some recent protests. The people, the Congolese, in fact, yesterday the latest I had on that news is that about 28 lives were lost because of a protest that was happening against the MONUSCO and against the EAC force by the Congolese. So in the process of these forces defending themselves, about 28 Congolese, was it 28 or 18? I don't want to misquote the number, lost their lives. A good number of Congolese lost their lives in this protest. They've been protesting. They don't want these forces in their country. And I wondered, I can understand why perhaps they're feeling these forces are here, we still have these attacks happening, our lives are still in danger, and as we were starting the show, I was reading there, where now the Congolese are forced to leave their homes because these fights have intensified and their lives are in danger. So they're wondering, why are you here? Why, MONUSCO, why are you here? EAC force, why are you here? There is that side of it, that they could have a legitimate concern and frustration with these forces being there, and they see as if nothing has changed. But also I was just wondering, could there be somebody, and from what you've shared there, could there be somebody who is maybe, if I could go with what you said, the people who are fighting to maintain the status quo, who now could be setting these people against these forces to frustrate their presence there and fight them. What do you think is there? Anybody can pick on that?
Miriam, before Innocent or anybody comes in, let me be very honest on this one. They are bigger forces than what we think. And the earlier we expose and talk about them like this openly, the better. France, I'm being honest. 7 years ago, in this same region, after the collapse of Addis Ababa elections of Amina Mohammed failing to be the Secretary General of African Union, and the election of Dr. Mohamed Faki, I followed one woman of Total Oil. I'm honest, because at my age now, if I don't tell the truth, God is going to ask me, then why did I give you a long time to be on earth? Yes, you know, those are some, I believe those are some of the questions that God asks people, because none of us has gone there and come back. But that is one of the questions God, Innocent, God is going to ask me, as Dr. Matanga, why didn't you tell the truth about this? I followed this woman. She was the managing director of Total Oil Africa from Morocco. She's a white, half-colored woman. I will not mention the name before she's not here. But this lady was dishing out money in African Union. I caught her on camera in African Union, in Sheraton Hotel, dishing 50 new notes, cash, dollars, 50,000 in bundles of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to ministers, foreign ministers of African Union. One of the ministers was from Zimbabwe, and I called Simbarashe Mubebegu. I took the camera, I took the photo and handed it over to President Mugabe. May Mugabe rest in peace completely. Baba, let God give you peace. Mugabe did not hesitate. After Mugabe looked at the Miriam, Mugabe and Onyango and the Innocent, Mugabe looked at the video, Mr. Sembarashe picking the money, He sacked him the following 3 days. He removed him from the portfolio of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and replaced him with Dr. Walter Muzembe. I am here. I'm living. I did it for the sake of humanity. I told President Mugabe, look, Your Excellency, look, this is your Minister of Foreign Affairs picking $50,000 from a French operative of DSGE, Foreign Intelligence Network of France, in quotes, working as Total Oil. Hasn't it solved, after she left Addis Ababa, this woman used to move around this region. She was looking for Ngamia 1, Ngamia 2, Ngamia 3. I think she's back again now. In your region there, Miriam, in Nairobi, where you are. I followed this woman up to Tanzania when Magufuli was there. May Magufuli rest in peace. These are people who are practical. And God, oh God. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Why do you take people like this? Quick. I told President Magufuli, the late, I went into Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. I stayed 7 days. In the hotel where I stayed, the whole hotel was full of French Marines cut. Their hair cut like this one of Matang. And we went out for a nightclub upstairs. There's a nightclub on top of the hotel, Hyatt, which was called Kimpiski Kilimanjaro. It had the tallest building in Tanzania. You can see Pemba, you can see Maputo, you can see Mount Kenya this side. Very tall. Lake Victoria the other side. So I asked on the table where I was seated, these guys, because I looked like we black people were outnumbered. So they saw me dancing in my rumba and they came to me. But they didn't know that I'm an investigative journalist. So I asked this French, what are you doing here? They said they are digging a road to Ruvuma, Nachingwea. I said, Nachingwea, the one I know, down in the south, because some of us were younger, but we used to go to Nachingwea, Ruvuma River towards Mozambique, Mbeya, Iringa, those areas. I can draw you the map of Tanzania even when I'm going to death, to the grave. I can draw for you. Now, that afternoon I was going to meet His Excellency President Magufuli. He gave me 15 minutes. With the late Minister Mahiga, who had actually facilitated for me and told Dr. Pombe Magufuli that there's a Pan-African friend of ours. You remember we met him in Addis Ababa. You remember Tanzania did not vote for Amina Mohammed. I'm now telling you the truth because I know what happened. But the minister did not get the money. The minister I saw who got the money was the Zimbabwe minister. I took the picture and I handed it to the president. And the president sacked him the following day. 2 days, he was out of power. He regretted why he took the $50,000. Okay. When I entered His Excellency President Magufuli's office, we talked. He said, hey, Pan-African, why don't you set headquarters of Pan-African here? I'll give you a whole building. And you'll speak the spirit of Nyerere. Nobody is doing that. People are talking. Nobody is doing Pan-African. We want a flag of Pan-African. He was telling me, come, I'll give you this building here. I said, Mzee, I'm very happy. But in our conversation, then I said, Your Excellency, this AU is breaking to pieces. After the failure of having an English-speaking candidate, I don't think AU is going to function anymore. I was very right. Magufuli, you are my witness. You have gone before me, but that is the truth that I said. As I was about to leave, I said, by the way, Your Excellency, I saw so many French people in the hotel where I'm staying. He said, which hotel is this? What are they doing here? Hey, I said, I don't know. They said they are on holiday. They are digging some road. Magufuli said, what? Which road is this? I said, you are not aware of this. So my mind, I said, oh, no, of course, there's some trouble here. President Magufuli said, sit down now. Sit. Ndugu yangu kaa chini. Waziri, pigia ule waziri ya security. I thought now, today, I'm going to... Is he calling to arrest me? Pigia waziri ya security. Akuje. Upesi kabisa. Aweke hiyo taa akuje. Taa ya moto ile nipitishe kwa mataa. Akuje hapa. Well, I said now, I came here for a good holiday. Miriam and Onyango and Innocent, I'm going to end up in jail. Kumbe Magufuli was calling me for the truth, for something very nice. And the minister of, if you have a president like that, the minister of state for security enters like this. I'm telling you, in the office, say, ndugu wewe, unajua wale wabeberu wako hapa wa France walikuja kufanya nini hapa? Mbona bado maambia mimi hawa wanakuja kufanya? Wako wengi 300 400 wako hapa kwa hoteli hizi zetu. Nani aliwapatia? Who gave them kibali? Who gave them the visa kuingia hapa? Haya, I said, wow. The Minister of State for Security is my friend. Now we looked at each other and said, hey, David, because he said, mzee, wacha ni contact ile immigration. Anasema wewe una contact immigration sasa hivi. Huyu jamaa huyu anatoka huko Ulaya anakuja kutuambia problems ziko hapa. Wewe, why are you here? Hey, well, I said, sir, can I excuse me a bit? Myself, I said, no, kaa chini, wacha niambie minister sasa fanya namna hivi. Hawa Faransa, tafuta nani aliwapatia. Just go and get the person who gave them the visas. By 2 p.m. 30, I want him in my office. And the immigration officer, I bet, you know what? He sacked the immigration officer there and then. He said, kama ndio yeye aliwapatia visa. If he's the one, he's gone. Sack him. Okay. Then I told the Magufuli, there is a woman of Total Oil who came to see these guys. Because while we were there during that time, the lady arrived in the hotel. The small, slender, tall, beautiful, ako mzuri sana, tata kama unamuona, very deadly woman. She was the managing director of Total Oil Africa. That woman created, and I'm telling you, I'm concluding by saying, she created a conflict in Mozambique. The French, who were pretending to be digging the road towards Mozambique, Miriam, were not contractors. These guys were Total Oil soldiers guarding installations of Total Oil. In Cape, what? Delgado. Cape Delgado, which is now on fire. You blame Matanga. You blame Matanga. 7 years ago, I came back and I told everybody, I wrote, it is even on my website. You will find my report that what are they doing here? The The conflict of Cape Delgado started that time. Total Oil has divided African Union. African Union has died. The conflict in Cape Delgado swung into action. I am happy about what President Kagame, I give credit where it is due. I have no problem with His Excellency Kagame. He's a president but younger than me. So I have a right when we sit on table, he has also to listen to me. Because I saw the light, I went to school before he went. Yeah. African culture must work here. Yes, because what is the use then? What is the use of calling somebody an elder going on pension? I'm going on retirement. President Kagame is not going on retirement. If he was in Britain, he will not go on retirement because his age hasn't struck to 65. Mine has passed expiry date. Therefore, respect demands. He has gone to Mozambique. He has tried to contain the mess. But the difficulties in Mozambique were caused by Total Oil and the French. And the same, I come back to our territory. Innocent said, there are bigger external forces, bigger than us. Miriam has just said, bigger than the whole region. That is one power that is fighting to create instability in DRC Congo. The second power is the United States of America. And I'm candid because for them, once they cause trouble, they say the travel adversary. Muko mbaya, mutu anakuja kuwaua. So why don't you stop this person? You know where he is. Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia axis. Chinese picked their money and put in the diamond, the copper fields of Ndora and Akitwe. The copper fields, the road that leads to Lubumbashi, which is another hotbed. You are only talking about Innocent, you are talking about Eastern Congo. There is a problem in Southern Congo, which is coming, which is going to be like a Ukraine. In that place, they are going to fight and kill each other there. And this time with the men without eyes and the others with eyes. The Chinese bought their supply chain. All the supply chain is economic supply chain. They gave Zambia money to build airport, build roads, do so many things, and they bought the copper supply chains. Now, the new president of Zambia, plus Tshisekedi, have signed an agreement to transfer without compensation all these supply chains to the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is for tough questions. The tough question here, Miriam, is China going to stand and wait, lose its money? As we silence the guns, as Uhuru Kenyatta silences the guns of Eastern Congo, the guns of Southern Congo, of the area of Katumbi, the Katanga province of Katumbi, something is going on. Something dangerous is taking place. I want to tell you, frankly, you people, that we might not see an end to this conflict in Congo. We might silence the one in the Eastern and open the corridor for Southern, which will suck in the battle-hardened Marxist government of MPLA of my brother-in-law. the other side of Angola. I have not even talked. I've not used these chances at all. I'm honest. Me, I listen. At times, my brother-in-law, he has some of the things I said, I think you are right. I told him, don't involve yourself in problems where Kagame and Museveni are quarreling. Just keep quiet. Let them finish the quarrel, then you come and take tea. Because you might be collateral damage. Now, as we come to the end, not the end yet, there are questions that I wanted Miriam to pierce you. And especially Innocent from Uganda. What do these rebels want? Do they want a territory? Do they want a state? Because if I were Uhuru Kenyatta negotiating this, I would have finished this long time ago. Give me to be there on that committee. I am, Mr. President, I'm not telling you that you are not doing very well. But let me scratch my head and ask Konyi. That's what I asked Konyi. That's what I asked Konyi. You are hearing me now, Miriam? I asked Mr. Konyi, what is it that you want? You want to carve northern Uganda into a state? Or what is it that you want to fight and continue fighting? Today, we have risked our lives to come here to help you, not us. I have a home where I have not sold one brick. I can go and sleep forever. And nobody will knock on the door that pay me. But I've come here to help you, Mr. Konyi, with your commanders. Chisano is 40 kilometers away. I want to clear a way to come here so that I tell them what. Do you want a state? Do you want to create northern Uganda? Do you want to do what? Tell us. It is yours. Your commanders, all of them were there. All of them. All of them. And that is what a mediator should do. If we don't speak out here, we are wasting your time. If you go on calling conferences, as Onyango said, call another one. We are calling one in Mombasa. Tomorrow we are going to call another one. We might even call one near Jupiter. The peace process is not done that way. Konyi answered, he said, no, he wants a peaceful Uganda. And he doesn't respect ICC. Listen to me, that's what he said. In Karamba Park, seated face to face with a man who has killed 1 million people or more. And you are at his mercy. He can just use one blade and you are gone. Who are you? Who will retrieve you from Congo to give you a ceremony? So I'm speaking with experience. Some people here walk around with suits and a briefcase that they have solved the problem. Which problem have you solved? Then you call other people busy bodies. What have you solved? My friend, leave it. Watch out. No, please watch out. You have gone to sit with a man who eats only leaves. 3 leaves. 3 leaves. He has been eating 3 leaves for 23 years. And you are asking him, what do you want? He asked me, what do you mean? You are not in Uganda? I said, no, answer the question. I'm taking this question because I'm going back to brief the UN. They are 40 kilometers away with UN force. They have ceased the fire. They will not fire. You will not fire. We have got the cessation of hostilities agreement. My whole cessation of hostilities agreement. Medium, look for it. It is on, can you get it? It is there on Google. You will see it, how I framed it. We framed it so well, God help us, that nobody, no soldier violated it. We removed the Konyi from Eastern Equatorial to Western Equatorial. 32,000 troops over River Nile ropes, with ropes we've bought for 1 week, 2 weeks, they were over until all the people left, so that the Juba-Nimri, Kampala-Juba-Nimri road was open and it could pass. People, lorries could pass without being hit. Otherwise, it was going to be impossible to do a peace process. They were frank. They said, we want a better, a united Uganda. But we want safeguard, to safeguard us, to safeguard our interests. That you give us, we have committed crimes, but we don't want to go to ICC. We want to stand trial in Kampala. That's what the commanders told me. And me, myself, Dr. David, Dr. Yakamacha, Dr. Ruakana Rugunda, Dr. Kisano, the former president of Mozambique, Chikweti, all countries, SADC, South Africa, Mozambique, Congo, DRC Congo, Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, all of them, AU were represented. Over 40 countries were on the peace. We are there waiting that day for me to come out of the bush to give what the commanders had said. Then we kick-started the process. Here we are, Northern Uganda is peaceful. And I want to thank President Museveni for having taken the initiative to agree for the first time to agree. I am now telling you frankly, he had told Bigombe was going there as a traitor. Mrs. Bigombe is always a traitor up to the end. She could not have managed convincing these younger boys to come out and sign those agreements. He was going there, talking, then telling them, he was doing two things, telling them that they are oppressing, the Banyankole are oppressing the Baganda, the Luo. So it is Omera, do this. Me, I went there as a neutral man. I wanted peace for my country. I wanted integrity for my country. I wanted my country to come back as a peace negotiator. I saw the troubles that we were going through. Miriam, we finally succeeded because people were very honest. Are the rebels honest? Do they tell us who gives them the guns? Innocent? That question might take you to Jupiter. And the leaders going to meet in Mombasa, is each one going to look at each other, look here in the eye and say, Miriam, I am the one who gave the big one the other day. If that is not done, please call me again. Innocent, as we make parting short, I've given you the dishonesty of the actors in this peace process is what is making things complicated. However many meetings the East African heads of state make on a daily basis, they can even make 1 million meetings. But my brother, as long as they are dishonest, that they have not told who funds who, like Bashir told us he gives Konyi arms, and they said from today, Sudan army will not give Konyi even 10 shillings. Now that there's a peace process, you can bring food for him. Drop the food, but for us, we used to drop food. Now we are not going to give Konyi food. Until now, the peace process started sending food to Rikwamba by the UN and other agencies of United Nations, World Food Program and so on. That we went to Kampala. President Museveni told us he will not fund SPLA anymore. The sincerity. 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 There is no sincerity here, Miriam. We can talk and talk the whole day. We can call these guys to eat our good sausages in hotels. These rebels have not told us who gives them the arms. The president, Tshisekedi, does not tell us how many rebel armies he funds. Hey, if these rebels hit, where do they go? Now let me talk like a soldier. If you hit a territory and you are being hit so hard, where do you go? You die, you dig a hole and go down and others pass like in the film. Maybe there's a film theater in Western Congo, Eastern Congo. I submit, I land my mic. Onyango.
You camouflage.
How do you camouflage where? You must have a territory, support retreat territory. You must have somewhere you go back and get water.
Of course,
where are they going?
Of course, Congo is a wide area and is a forested area with the rainforest. So I think how do we call the national park? In it, the national park there is where there are most of rebels.
Virunga. You are talking about Virunga National Park. No.
Yes,
Innocent is very vast with the Virunga National Park. I think it is in South Kivu or North Kivu. I don't know.
North
Kivu, yes.
Part of it is also in Rwanda.
Yeah, part of it is in Rwanda where the gorillas are. So, if Onyango, are you technically laughing and saying they go in the Virunga Park, which now borders Rwanda? So, are you trying to insinuate that they could be going back to where they came from?
Okay, when you read a lot of history about most of the rebels, even the ADF from Uganda, they are hiding there.
It is also that ADF. Now, if Tshisekedi says he has got legitimacy, Miriam, how do you allow 131 rebel groups to be on your territory? How?
It's just the capacity of the army. The capacity could be very low.
And doctor, if I can come in quickly, what is he talking about this terrible ADF, which we have seen continuously, massacre people in this other province? The extent now of actually agreeing that Uganda UPDF goes in.
The ADF.
Sorry, I would expect him to look at this whole group and approach it as, together, and use this East African standby force to possibly see how they can work with the national army to clear off all these militias, starting from one province to the other. But and that's what I expected when I saw DRC agree to the East African Standby Force Army to go in. But lately you keep seeing, a change, saying he does not agree and does not believe M23 rebels are Congolese. But this issue has been on before he even ascended into power. When you look through the history of this M23 group, actually, it starts with even a different name. I think they used to be called the CNDP under Laurent Kunda. And when you look at their origin, these are people who are from North Kivu and mainly from Asisa and Ruchuru areas. And largely they are Tutsi. And it stems from, these militias who were attacking them, and they were cattle keepers. They were attacking and taking their cattle, for food and so on. So this group, I think, decides to take up an initiative to defend themselves. Of course, for me, the support of the neighboring countries without a mention. because, as I said, they are one and the same. You're speaking the same language, your immediate neighbors, that's where they were fleeing. So probably 50% of your relatives are in the other country. So it's for me without really mention that, yes, they have that support. So this group fights until they change to now even M23 we see in, I think that was 2012? 2012, I think.
Yes.
When did they sign? When did they get
the Kunda group? We went with the Obasanjo to meet Kunda.
Yes.
That was 2008.
Yes.
When we flew in with Obasanjo to meet Kunda, and he was around those regions of Ngoma, somewhere there where you are mentioning. Now,
yes,
to meet him on a peace process. But the group that this is why, Innocent, the question is, who are the real commanders of M23? It's
Dr. Matsanga, me and you may never know this. This is what I told you, and I keep telling you.
These are tough questions.
A deep sea of secrets. These are some of the things they are known, but by very few. You know, there's something we usually say that at times many of the human beings on this world go to grave with some secrets. Even you, Dr. Matsanga, there are some things you may never release from your heart to anyone. So, but I agree with you that, and you rightly brought it, that to resolve this conflict, we must, all the people behind these efforts must know the actors, all the actors with interest in this. Just like you and your team, when you are handling this LRA, you had to know all the actors, all the interested parties in this conflict. And you rightly said Sudan was the one largely supporting the LRA. And until you approached Khartoum and Khartoum agreed to stop supporting LRA, that's when we saw some end to this problem. Of course, we know that Uganda was also supporting South Sudan against Khartoum. So when both parties agreed to end this support, that's when we saw peace in the northern Uganda. So this eastern region, until we also, the parties that be, who are supporting the both sides of the conflict, until they agree to a mutual, or they reach a mutual agreement and agree on how they are going to move forward with this situation, either by sharing these resources they're exploiting and agreeing percentages, we will not see this end. Because as we have seen, 2012, I think there was an agreement even. I think the Nairobi Accord, which agreed that these people are going to be taken on in the national army. And then the people in North Kivu and South Kivu these persecutions based on tribes and so on will end. I think that agreement was signed in Nairobi. And we see them fighting again when there was a breach, because we are told that those who were integrated in the national army were still sidelined. Others were not even integrated. The promises that were agreed on were not fulfilled. So when I see again saying, I don't know M23, they are not Congolese, and yet all this information is there, I find it a little bit strange. So for me, I think it's to go back to this and see how they can, one, either look into that agreement and again agree to it. But I think what was not done, in my view, beyond that agreement, the actors did not look at the other entities who are supporting the other militias in DRC Eastern region. Because what used to happen before M23 and what led to M23 to take up these arms continued. Government still failed to take charge of this region. These militias continued massacring Tutsis and other Banyabwisha and other people in the eastern region. So for me, I think it's to be bold, and thank you, Doctor, for being open enough to mention even countries. We need to be bold and take on these countries which are behind these militia groups and agree to either give them 20% or 30% or 50% of these interests of minerals they want, and we have peace. And we have peace. Then, of course, for me, I think those who are behind, the bigger forces behind M23, will also be able to agree to this. Because what I see when you ask the question of what do the M23 want, I think constantly they've said they are not interested in seceding. They don't want to carve a country in North Kivu and South Kivu, but they keep saying that they want peace in these provinces. They want their people to be protected, to not be segregated on tribal issues, to see what they want to be embraced as Congolese. That's what they say. On whether maybe they need to secede, that's another story. But at least openly, they've said they want peace. And who is causing this insecurity and all that? These are the Mai Mai, these are the FDR, these are the... So we need to look at those behind these forces. And we find all these militias are controlling a certain portion or region in these provinces. And they are backed by a certain powerful entity. So for me, let's deal with these powerful entities. We will have disarmed these militias and we will have peace in this region. For example, Uganda had even started constructing roads. You remember after this famous court case of DRC against Uganda, I think Uganda said, maybe, I don't know whether it was to try and pay back in that way. They said, we are going to construct roads via Kasese, another one via Chisoro Bunagana. Even Dr. colleagues Miriam and Onyam, they even, I think, they launched these roads. I mean, commissioned these roads. And tractors and equipments we had put on the roads and work had started. And this when we see again this turmoil coming. So I think for me, let's look. I know these people know, like you, Doctor, you've mentioned some of these countries. We just need to be more bold enough to maybe put on table some negotiations with them. And I believe something is being done. And that's why this is taking long, so that, we be more organized. If it's sharing that cake, I believe it can be shared. But when people are peaceful, if DRCs, I believe they can agree that probably the minerals from this and this will be giving you this much. But let this region, and I agree with you, we need to see that this region gets peace. And lastly, I think there is also an issue of pride in the leadership of Congo. They need to agree. They need to agree to peace talks to these people. They cannot continue to say, we will not have peace talks with these rebels. And you rightly talked of Museveni. One thing that has kept Museveni long in power is that sometimes he puts his pride down and he goes to do some of the things which most leaders will not do. And like you said, he would have gone ahead to really fight the RA, but time reached and he said, no, let's do peace talks. Let's do peace talks. Let's have a cessation of hostilities and we talk to these people.
Yes.
You recall many people are saying even the army was benefiting from this war, and I know the pride of some of our African presidents to just go down and say, I'm just allowing to settle and talk to this group of militias. He would have chosen to do that, but he said, no, let's do peace talks. I know a lot was done beyond that, but that was also a bigger contributing factor. So His Excellency Tshisekedi must also really agree because actually the former governments have done this and there is all evidence. So let him agree to talk to them through either indirectly or directly. For me, that will also be, and once that is done, I believe, and these other parties are really, as a region, are reached out to, if it means boycotting some of their, or arranging to see what can be done bilaterally or as a region with those countries, then for me, I think we'll be able to sort this. But I believe we're on the right track, Dr. Matsanga. This is a conflict that has gone on for so many years. So let's be a bit patient. Let's be a bit patient. A lot is being done behind the curtains than what we are seeing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I leave you go, we shall nickname you the man of the diplomatic sea, because there's a lot in the diplomatic sea. So that is your nickname, diplomatic sea. Now, there's some, and before I come to Onyango for parting short, there is a country that has just mushroomed from nowhere. And this country, Miriam and Innocent Paul, is called Qatar. If you look at all the conflicts in the whole world, starting from Afghanistan, Al-Shabaab, Chad, Libyan conflict, all these conflicts, Qatar plays a role. Now my tough question is this. How does Qatar know the rebel leaders of terrorist groups? How? Why is it that Qatar has access to Taliban, to Al-Shabaab, to Chadian rebels? African Union has no access to any leader of the Chadian rebels, but Qatar has. Now, Qatar has access to Congo process. My worry is we in Uganda have ADF, which is our main problem. And according to intelligence reports well laid, ADF picks back money from some countries in the Middle East. And that is a fact. You can go to Angel Gabriel and ask him that is it true? He will tell you yes. Now, if Qatar comes in the Goma, the M23, the Rwanda, Tshisekedi arrangement, don't you think we are banning? Whom does Qatar represent? In Cape Delgado, when the French discovered the oil, Qatar was the second phase. Qatar was seen there. And it didn't take 2 months before ISIS. Have you seen I always follow these things very keenly. And if there is anybody in this bloody Africa telling me, wow, that he knows more intelligence on this thing, let him come and challenge me. Immediately after, honestly, I'm saying it openly today. I have not, you know what, my daughter, I reach a point where I'm not happy. When Total Oil said that we have discovered oil in Cape Delgado in Mozambique, through, again, what I've told you about Magufuli and those French, who 1 month later, the French disappeared, the roads stopped. How can you dig a road to nowhere? Excuse me. What is the purpose of a road? To lead you to where? You are digging a road in southern part of Tanzania to the Chingwea Ruvuma entering towards Mozambique. But the other part, not even a single grass has been dug. Where does the road lead you? Once you reach the border with Mozambique, where do you disappear to? In the bushes, isn't it? You look at that. Where did this guy go? Kumbe, there were people guarding the oil fields of Cape Delgado. I was 100% correct. And after that, Qatar people appeared in Cape Delgado. We heard of Qatar oil, Total Qatar, Total Oil Qatar Energies. Have you seen it now? Miriam, are they not the ones who have bought the Qatar has bought all the stakes of the French. Now see, as Innocent lands his mic, because this is sweet. It's very sweet for Uhuru Kenyatta. Let him listen to this, man. Bring people who have knowledge on this thing and we eat it. Look at this, Mr. President Kenyatta, former president. Look at what they are doing. The French now tell Qatar that run very quickly, grab that thing and bring them to sign. Have you seen how God is very grateful? Through Tshisekedi, God tells Tshisekedi left hand and the leg that don't go there. Say that you are having heavy flu. Mr. Tshisekedi does not appear anywhere. But who was telling Qatar to live 7,000 kilometers away from Doha to Ngoma? What interest do you have? What interest?
It's the messenger. It's been sent by the big boys.
Thank you. So me as a Ugandan who wants a peaceful Uganda, the involvement of Qatar, I will oppose. You can hate me. There are some people here who want cheap money, looking for cheap money. Kwenda. Cheap money. No. I will oppose. What do I need? Do I need a visa to Qatar? For what? Miriam, excuse me. Even in football, they are going to pay me for my ticket, which they wasted. They have agreed to pay out of court. I was among the 462 companies that Qatar agreed to pay out of court. And if they make a mistake on this one, I'll take them down again. The same court. Usicheze na matanga on international sea. Itakufunga. Yes. Qatar is not a good country. They come here, they enjoy the fruits of African continent. They enjoy everything from our women up to their own food. But they don't treat us properly when we go to their countries. When will Africa rise and shine again and talk to them, look at their faces? Why do you mistreat our children? Then you eat, you come here, you enjoy with your food here with council, white councils walking around with our women drinking shisha. Shisha is, what is it called, shisha or what? What? No, enough is enough. We need a powerful African Union to say enough is enough. And unfortunately, the African Union has captured itself with, the African Union has captured itself with who? Qatar. Because that man, Muhammad Faki, likes money. Like Zakayo. He likes money like Zakayo. Have you ever seen Zakayo's grave anywhere? You people, did you read the Bible? Did you hear anywhere where Zakayo was buried?
No.
Yes. So we have too many Zakayos on this continent of Africa. Dr. Muhammad Faki, the secretary, the AU chairperson, is a Zakayo. He has sold AU to one nation in Europe that molests us Africans. Look at what is happening in the eastern part, western part of Africa. Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Mali. What is happening there?
Chad,
military coups. Nigeria is finished. I don't think in the next 10 days, Nigeria will be holding elections. The next 15 days. They will be going to elections. But I'm telling you, I'm the most worried man until they say the election, they have finished the voting. Because 3/4 of Nigeria, innocent, there is crime, kidnap, ransom, terrorism, Boko Haram. All the girls in northern part of Nigeria, there are no girls left. They have been taken as wives by terrorists of ISIS. Is this the Africa that we want? No. We have to speak about it, and nobody should stop us. We want able leaders who can take decisions, like President Museveni took a decision in 2005-6, said he needs a peace process. He has been fighting the war for a long time. Those who agree, give an amnesty. Uganda government gave amnesty for 1 year. If you have been a rebel who had held a gun, you go to any bishop, any embassy, anywhere where Uganda embassy is. A judge will come, you swear, he gives you your certificate, clears you, and says it is over. It's constitutional. It is no longer, it is we favor this. No, it's constitutional. And they say you will always preach peace. And that's it. And then you get your judge, the judge will stamp the certificate and give you your certificate and ask you, you want to go home? You say no. You want to stay where you are? Yes. And I continue with my work. Do you want any help of a blanket, a saucepan, a plate, soap? They gave over 42,000 non-combatants returned in northern Uganda. They are there. And another group of about 40, they are now in UPDF. 40,000, about so. They are mixed in UPDF. They have trained. They have got qualifications. They have gone back to school. That is the way to solve a war, a crisis. But we cannot go on running in big hotels, another hotel, another one. So, innocent. Maybe you are coward on Qatar, then poll 2 minutes on what, and then we hand it back to Miriam in Nairobi. I want to thank you.
Yes, I'm just echoing your sentiments on, as Ella had said, that the African leaders should move with speed. These conferences is taking too long. We have spoken for a long time. Then this country called Qatar, my problem with some of the countries that are involved in this conflict, in a shadow way, they are the same countries. When peace negotiations are going on, they're the ones holding cards under the table, asking, I want this, I'll support this. I want this, I'll support this. So they are dragging these negotiations too far, to the extent that it does not make it does not make any sense. When the East Africa region sent their troops to Congo, the reaction from the public that those forces are doing nothing. For how long will be there? Because the public reaction will always make them not work properly. They will not be cooperative. And if these forces are supposed to work with the general public, meanwhile, you still hear our leaders still call for conferences. Why don't they react to what the public wants, not what according to what other people are holding under the table? It is quite absurd that some people do not see the sense that what the public are feeling is what we are supposed to react to, not what is under the table. What is under the table is not helping people. Those people are very angry. They are very anxious. They need to support their lives with speed. The mere fact that there are foreign forces in their land, and yet they still see the same problems going on. It means that it is just a waste of taxes. Those forces there, they spend a lot of money. The money that was taken somewhere, there are some taxpayers who money that was collected somewhere to support their stay there. If their stay cannot guarantee peace, then there's no need for them to continue being in that land. They just walk out. They leave people to live the way they've been living. So that is my take.
Innocent.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and
thank you,
for that. And I think this is going to be my last contribution. I have another meeting.
No, it's okay. Just on Qatar.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Doctor, you've really said it all, and I fully agree with you. And for me, Qatar, this world, we are just all human beings. Everyone wants to be very powerful and influential. So I think Qatar has taken that approach and is using her resources so well to make itself one of the global and most influential countries globally, using its oil and gas. And I'm one admirer of most of these Arab countries. They really don't have much corruption. I mean, the resources God has given them, they have maximally utilized them. And they have been able to develop themselves. Of course, using also the Islamic law, which at times I also think is good. So they've not allowed so much of foreign infiltration. But Qatar is this one country which has tried to now do a balance of getting out of that old, strong, rigid Islamic kind of law to also align with these Western capitals. And their foreign policy has really come out that strong. And I think one of the strategies has been also communication. This Al Jazeera TV, you will agree with me that once you have information, your power, you will really swing and direct the world to believe what you want them to believe. So when you look at this Arab world, everyone is watching Al Jazeera, including the Western. So they've used it to really influence them and really make their country so strong. The recent World Cup, I think games were another stance. I don't know, they put in too much to really host that World Cup. And I think for me, it was beyond that. They were showing something to this Western Cup. So the challenge is that they will move and go with whoever comes. They are not, whether they are the wrong fellas, the good fellas, they will associate with anyone. And they will receive this. I think most of these, even wrong fellas, are probably keeping money with them. I don't know. But for me, I don't also agree that you have such a country. We've seen where there have been and there have been issues coming to mediate on issues which I even think they don't understand. These issues are best understood in the region. So I believe the best people to really mediate this should be people who understand them. I also really approach
yes.
And I know one country in the region which is also taking that approach and very closely associated with them, of course. So I just agree with you. I just hope and pray that this matter will continue to be managed here in the region. I'm already so impressed by the president of Burundi as the chair. Most people were worried that he may not stay the chair chairmanship well, but I think he's actually doing so well. The way he received the President Kagame, who for long they had issues, I was so happy to see that. And to relate also to another thing in the region that has really put a big smile on me, Dr. Matsaga, Miriam, and Paul, is the recent Eritrean, just the other day, Eritrea president visiting Kenya, and what was talked about. And I'm actually this weekend, I'm on the moon. I'm so super excited because that country has been hurting me daily.
Innocent.
So, Dr. Masek actually do for us another forum on that.
That is a very serious topic next week.
Exactly. So I mean, we can't keep sitting and isolating a neighbor, and you think that things will go well, and you're in IGAD, and you have a member which is out. For me, these times, that's why I'm so full of positivity. That's why I'm so full of hope.
I can see
that Africa and we shall be able to deliver and be together. And I think slowly by slowly, we are exposing the wrong fellas.
Okay, thank you very much. I think slowly by slowly, Miriam, we are also going to close down with very tough questions. Is the peace process holding? According to Innocent Ndahiriwe, it is, and he's optimistic. According to Dr. Matsanga, for me, the leaders have taken us, the stakeholders, both sides, the actors, the M23, and the so-called, and the presidents of the community and the surrounding countries are not honest, including a new front that is opening in Lubumbashi, via Ndola and Lusaka. Americans came and opened a military base. I have never seen a military base inside inland. I always see military bases where there is a sea. So where is the sea in Lusaka? The nearest river is Zambezi, which goes very far away from Lusaka. So I don't know why the Americans open a military base and then go and buy Chinese supply lines of cobalt, platinum, copper. Are we not creating a third world war that will explode? And the more China will now come to fund more rebel groups because they are frustrated. Dishonesty, they are. I want to end on the note that the more conferences you call and the leaders don't come to say, I am the one funding these people with M14, those heavy guns that we see Mr. M23 carrying. Where did they get them? DRC is a landlocked country. Where did they get them? Who are the real commanders of M23? And the Innocent Ndahiriwe says, as a diplomat of deep sea, Mr. Deep Sea, it is really, you have taught me one good word, the diplomats of deep sea.
Yes.
It is really a deep sea. The more you dig about this Congo, in fact, you might not reach the depth, the real bottom. It is widens. That's why we call it spiraling towards out of control. You see now the Qatar has come in. It is pressurizing. It is putting cash dollars. Americans, Mr. Warren Warren Buffett has also put down $10 million for a peace process to help DRC Congo. The rebels don't tell you, do they want a territory of Banyamulenge? Innocent, for me, I talk the truth now. Me, in the final analysis, William, I think the rebels want a territory. But they are not telling us.
Tell you why is it that Doctor, yes. Why is it that there has been a split in that rebel group and the people never talk about it?
I don't know. Now, that is what Innocent calls deep sea operations.
Yeah, there was a split because there was this man called Sultan Makenga. Even this man called Ntakanda who was arrested. There was a split. Then this man called Jean Marie was also killed. Sultan Makenga ran away and went to Uganda.
Okay, but then why have we taken Bosco Ntaganda? And there are so many questions to ask here. I think the word
deep sea, Doctor, yes, talked of, and I think we never finish this.
Yes, let's go back to you and there is real deep sea. We might not finish, my sister, because if you look at the entire Congo, there is no Congolese army commander who has been taken to the ICC. Have you seen that? That's another deep sea. Next week, on Monday, we look at the deep sea politics of Matanga Global Trends. Very interesting subject here, Innocent. If you have time, don't miss this. These are good topics Africa needs to hear about. If you have time, always join us. Matanga Global Trend comes up, and very early in the morning, Miriam Africa touch. She touches Africa. She eats Africa like a pineapple in the morning. So don't miss Miriam at 10 o'clock every morning East African time, which is about 6 o'clock United Kingdom time, where I am right now. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure over the weekend, and I want to pass the baton back from me in London. I want to pass the baton back to Miriam in Nairobi, Kenya, the headquarters of expanded democracy. Is it? Expanded. Tell us, this expanded democracy, Kiko Mingi, uko Nairobi. We don't talk about Kenya anymore because we have left the leadership to you to talk about and deliver. Then you can't, African leadership, you can't catch it on 2 months, 3 months. Let's wait for 1 year. And then we come back. There's something that I learned from Dr. Milton Obote as one of his PA. Because all of us, Innocent, all of us pass through Obote. But some people now don't like to hear about him because he's dead. Me, I am one of those who believes in him even when he's dead, so that he doesn't ask me the question, what did I teach you? He taught me in political science, you use the analogy of a rope. And the medium you are studying political science and international relations. Give the rope. Every minute it extends deeper to the throat, deeper, deeper. Then the person will cry and say, I need help, take me out of the rope. That's what he told me sometime in 1981 when he was giving me my scooter in my city. When he bought 100 and there were 100 constituencies, he bought 101. He ordered Indian government to bring 101 scooters. Miriam, don't you think it will be very bad even God will hate me if I refuse the man? Out of all millions of Ugandans, he gave me my one scooter. A poor boy who had been on, in UNLF with Nasasira, Rukumayo, Yashitando, Omonyo Jok, Daniel Dada Navdeli. I was with them in the political diplomatic after Mosh. The guy gave me my scooter, Miriam. The first one, he ordered, when people asked, why did you order 101 Your Excellency when there are 100 constituencies? He said, there is one special boy. He has worked so hard since Mosh gave him that scooter. And the people were shocked. Cabinet ministers, Innocent Rakasisi, were shocked. He's still there, he's still alive. You can ask him. He was very shocked. Tiboronda said, yes, this one is dead. Rakasisi is there. Kuya Masete is dead. Recently, may their souls rest in peace. Masete was not very happy why I was given a scooter to be an extra man in the district, yet he was the boss from Chikos Malum 208 KJ. Hi! It caused me trouble, Miriam. That is it. So I cannot run away from him. When we meet down there where he has gone, boss, he might ask me, hello, hello, what has happened? I don't want to hide. And God will say, why did you not say what you are supposed to say? Thank you very much. I've said the truth. And we are only saying to make the process better, Your Excellency, Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I tagged you and you have been listening. I will send the clip to your office. These are things that can help to change the peace process. If the rebels are not telling you who arms them, and the people you are calling are not saying, like Bashir and Museveni said, we have stopped arming both sides. If I were you, I would put a condition. That's all I can end it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you all. Good afternoon.
We want to hear your voice.
No,
Innocent, thank you. You are just saying bye-bye.
Yeah.
Innocent is our new...
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you.
Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you.